Good evening, everybody. How are you all? This is Dr. Rao coming in to start my room on the 34th day of this marathon I'm doing um, of bringing you the importance of calming our mind and really going beyond it and experience probably some goodies, right? At least have a routine just to have the mind calm and quiet and thereby energize you. Okay, that's what I was talking about. All these 33 days. Today is the 34th day, so 6 more days. I'm going to move into uh, something different. I already have a. I wrote a book about second chances, and then I will be presenting that, and then we'll discussing some of it. It will be published by the time. It's already ready, so you just have to have a cover, and then it will be out. Okay. This is about modern medicine and ancient wisdom, and how that has helped me to recover from a serious illness. Okay, so that's what I was going to talk about. Meanwhile, as usual, I got up very early this morning and had a chance to launch myself into the presence and then get on to the work. And I was accomplishing a lot because of that quietness. And it's not just working, it's not just being intense, but it's also about really seeing good results because of the quality of work you put when you work in that kind of present moment awareness mind, right? That's what I have been talking about all these years. So if anybody has questions and all that, I have been answering. So we have been doing uh, and direct messages from people are very encouraging, and some of them are pretty deep questions, and it was exhilarating to go into that kind of depth. So I'm very happy the way the whole thing has went. Sanya was a frequent guest, and Ivy was a frequent guest, and Angela was a frequent guest. There are several people like that who are close to me and who have been working with me in so many capacities. Sanya was my student and a friend, and Ivy was my uh, always asking me questions in the philosophical rooms. She's from England, and there were people from England, and also there were people from Australia that posed questions and all that. So I was very happy to hear all that. Basically, it's not an information, it's the insights that you have within your own mind that's important. Okay, don't burden yourself with a lot of information. That's the message. Especially when you get up in the morning, if you have a lot of stuff carried in your mind from last night, that's not good. You should be getting up in the morning full of energy and fully aware and conscious in the moment. If you are not, then try to bring that into your life. Okay, practice that in the morning, and then it becomes a habit after a while. That's why I was coming on so many days on this same topic. So if you have your mind right, if your mind is in the present and it's quiet and silent, and you'll have a very good day no matter whatever you do, right? So that's something uh, important to wake up with and work at it, and then through the day try to do that as much as possible. The deep breathing I was talking about, just a few breaths a minute, do that as a habit every so often. I prefer people do every 1 hour per 1 minute, especially the people who come to me for stress and burnout, and they have this mind going on at a whim. So even if somebody says something, they get triggered, and then they kind of hang on to it and then go on repeating it in their mind, or sometimes expressing outwardly with anger or frustration, whatever, right? I see that quite often with my colleagues, especially. And sometimes administration puts up sometimes for me to really counsel them. So I'm very happy to help out like that. So but I'm now expanding my wings a little bit so that I can be more available to other places. So that's what was going on. So I completed like my important book. They have to get those covers and designs and all that, right? So the first one is named as Modern Challenges, Ancient Solutions. This took some while because it's a serious book, right? And the second one is Meditative Awareness, and the third one is Servant Leadership, right? And the fourth one just finished is the Second Chance. My journey from having a stroke in 2014 to how I used mix of modern medicine and wisdom of ancient wisdom for my own welfare, and then out of that, a lot of insights happened for the patient care as a whole, and that's what I'm going to describe in there. Okay, so you will see my attitude about rehab, my attitude about patients having a really intense rehab, and also using some of the yoga and Vedic principles to keep our mind quiet and in the present. And you also see how that sickness really puts you into inward mode, and all those things I was going to talk about, right? So, and then I kind of went and created parallel courses for a couple of them. One is the meditative awareness, and another one is the servant leadership. This almost like a biography of a part of my life is going to be the second chance thing, right? That I don't have a leadership. I mean, I don't have a course for that, but probably that would be probably given because a lot of people consult on how to recover from serious catastrophic illness, right? Sometimes you may not have a chance to really recover from it, but if you are, what can you do? What are the things you should employ? All those things. One of the important thing is what you do with your thought, what you do with your emotional self, what you do with your. Don't tell me all this talks about all the theories and everything. I'm not interested. I'm interested in what can be done practically here and now without really making anything come into my body. This is non-invasive, therapeutic but non-invasive. Just by having a leap in understanding, turning the mind on itself, and then really getting the riches that are there within us. Okay, that's what it is. It's not like a something you do just something and mantra or whatever. It's not that. It's about really taking a leap in understanding, illuminating your own understanding, that kind of thing. It's pretty deep, and people have to be willing to go into that and put up the work that is needed for that. Okay, very few people really do, either because they don't have the time, or they don't have the energy, or they are so stuck in their own beliefs. It could be a scientist, it could be a philosopher, or it could be a religious person. Whatever the hang-ups that people go through, they can't extricate themselves from that kind of deep habit, mental habits, right? So that's what I work on. There was no force, no convincing people. They have to really get into the understanding from what they normally understand to what is the truth. That's you should be not seeing the truth through your thought, but seeing through this perceptive silence. Then you will see the truth for what it is. Okay. Anyway, in this room, what I have been doing was due to the uh, modern society, the way we built it, the way the information is ubiquitous, and we can get to the information anytime, everywhere, and also they are forcing up a lot of information on us. What I am proposing is look at it, use the information that you need to really take advantage of the technology, but also look at the angle where that high low roll of information or distractions is causing problems with your mind, right? And then have it under your control by starting in the morning, getting hold of that and not letting it to go unnecessarily into the past and the future, but trying to be in the present and solve the problems. Okay, be responding, but not reacting to things, right? And then during the day also bring that presence as much as possible into your life, and that's only when you are living really. Otherwise, you are in your mind, right? And at the end of the day, what you do, you just clean your slate and go to sleep. So that's what I was telling. So for this, what I was prescribing actually is uh, go to a place that you are very comfortable, either at home or at office, preferably at the same time, and take 5 to 15 minutes for this, and then sit down, keep your feet firmly on the floor, keep your back straight, and then take deep breaths in and out. And do that for a certain time. And also watch your thoughts, don't indulge them or don't suppress them. And that's it. But then the realistic with which you do, the more you come to the present by anchoring your breath with the tip of the nose, and the mind also is tied to that. Then you come back to the center if you want to save it. So you do that for 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 15 breaths, whatever you can do. You can also do variations where you say, I'm not just this body and mind, I'm this awareness behind it. That also helps for deeper understanding. But if you just get up in the morning, don't want to get into the train of thought, just do the deep breathing, that's good enough. But have a good posture when you do it, and have the grounded feeling by keeping your feet on the floor completely. And then you just close your eyes and let the breathing be a center and anchor. And then once you are having some thoughts coming up or some sort of projecting, be aware of it. Just watch it. So you be the watcher of the thoughts, watcher of the emotional impulses that you get. Whatever you get, be the watcher, be the witness, be the observer, we call it. And then try to be that through the day. Be the watcher through the day. And then there's a gap between the thoughts happening and then your reaction or your execution of the thought. Is a gap, and that gap is very critical. And then you won't be reacting impulsively or from your conditioning. You are going to be responding to the challenge of the lives that you of the life you face all day. And when you are done with whatever business you have, whatever the things that you have done, just before retiring, again catch hold of the present moment, and then stay in there and then go to sleep. Okay? That's a very valuable thing if you practice every day religiously. Not in the sense of a particular religion, but in the sense of, yeah, that's something I'm going to do because it is going to be needed for me. Like you need a bath to the body, you want to bathe and you want to clean your body, right? Like that, you get to have a mechanism of not overloading the brain, first of all, if you can do it. That means you find out what is meaningful for you and give all the importance to that, right? And then that will be good. And then don't get involved in all this uh, uh, vernacular, so many discussions, arguments, and opinions, and all that. See, it's not about the information. In this spiritual matters, it is not the amount of information that matters, it's how long you can keep your mind calm. That's a big statement. Think about it, and then you will find out for yourself what is the truth about it. So I relish being in the silence. I relish being in the quietude that you get from really practicing this. And I relish the fact that it is the peace itself. It is the happiness itself. It is the joy itself. Once you really landed up in that silence. So there were so many things that were presented in the modern times and also in the ancient times too. So the modern sages I kind of was influenced by was Ramana Maharshi and then J. Krishnamurti. Both of them talked about silence of the mind. They have not talked much in their lives, but whatever they talked, they were, grasped by other people. They put the books and all that. But if you say Ramana Maharshi, probably in 70, 80% of his life, he did not talk. Okay. Whereas Krishnamurti, he really lived in silence, and then he had meaningful talks with people, but then most of the time he lived in silence by himself. Okay, so there is a movie made of him too, Krishnamurti with a silent mind. You know, so people don't understand what is that silent mind. Yeah, you don't have to understand. You have to experience it. Go and experience it and see what comes out of it. Don't say so many words about it. Just be there. And one of the famous sayings I remember is all the speech, all the words are the grandchildren of the silent. So you want to be the grandfather, not the grandchildren. That's kind of thing. So I don't want to promote this or anything. I just feel like it's a healthy habit to be calm in the midst of this multiple uh, stimuli coming at our way, many sources of information, and many are not really related to our life's problems or life significance, rather just out of random curiosity, or somebody wants to sell something and they want to sell us all these things. That we see that quite often, right? So don't have to be swayed by them, because if you're an intelligent person, if you are somebody discriminative person, if you are somebody who knows what is important, what's not, then you will make an automatic choice of very prudent, practical thing, where you don't want to really mess up your mind with lots of unnecessary information. Okay, so this is a very important thing. A lot of people want to run around thinking about so many things, doing so many things, and all that, right? And then they say, "Oh, I'm going to sit down and quiet myself down to meditation." That's one way, but that is episodic. That is like a whack-a-mole. Thought comes up and you bang down, and then it goes down and then comes up again. Rather than that, if you can understand the mechanics or principles or the career of a thought, then you will be able to understand it, and through understanding, it automatically quietens down. You don't have to suppress the thought. You don't have to fight to stop the thought. What you can do is understanding how it functions, how it do, and then that understanding leads to silence within your own mind. And that, once you see that silent self, then all the thoughts automatically stop. Okay, so that's my experience anyway. I enjoy this quietude quite. Suppose somebody comes on my room. Hi, Sanya. Sanya is here. So this somebody comes and we talk about it, and I don't carry the remnant afterwards. That's the key. I live with them, I talk to them, I tell them what I think is the truth, and that after that, that's it. It's done, right? They don't have to agree with me. Only thing is, if they look at it in a deep manner and work at it, that's what I'm inviting people to. Not to agree with me, not to follow me, but listen to the truth of any statement, and go and investigate it and find the truth is there. If it is there, then don't brush it aside. Allow it to happen in your life. Sanya, how are you?
Great, Doctor.
Mm.
Wow. How are you?
I am great too. So I got a lot of accomplished today. So I
Yeah,
think,
good. Me
yeah,
too, me too.
yeah,
So just taking a little break now, but
very good. So as I was telling them, I almost complete with 4 books now. You know,
yes, awesome.
you
Yeah.
remember the big book I was working on, and
Uh-huh.
the modern challenges, ancient solutions. I kind of started last year, but in between, I was kind of did not pursue it. But then later on, some things happened on the chapters. Some things have to be, revised because the new developments happened with internet, with the war situation. So different chapters had to enter that. And
Yeah.
also the final chapters are going to be pretty deep. Because initially I didn't want to bring that in, but then later on I said, okay, if somebody is curious to read all these other chapters, they will be happy to read these deeper chapters. So that took some time, but and then I wrote another book on meditative awareness. You remember one day you were talking about meditation. I said, hey, I just wrote a book, Sanya. you know
Yeah.
yeah. And then third one is servant leadership. This is for the challenge I took. And then this is the second chance. That's a fourth book. The second
Mhm.
chance is about my experience with the stroke and how I recovered it. How did I mix the modern and ancient wisdom, and how we should pay attention to the ancient wisdom. Even though you can be modern medical treatments are fine, but then if you combine them, then like me, you will be living healthy and recovered from that illness, and you are not really ending your life or anything. See, 2014 to now, right? So how much life I had, how many things I have done, so that's important too. So I just want to people to look at it. So if they want some my suggestions, I'll certainly tell them how to handle it. Probably the patients always come and tell about it. That's there. But then I want this to be around public, and then really goes into the health system.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
like you have a lot of experience for sure.
yeah,
So, it's nice to put that in books so someone can read it and perhaps
yeah,
help them with their lives.
yeah. It's not about
Are
just
you
the
doing
slow.
the audible, I mean, the
Yeah,
audio version as well? Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
find that as I was driving, I actually love the audible part.
Yeah, I think it's a standard now these days, right? And so probably I'll make it is like a PDF version in a short format to begin with, so that people can get the gist of it, and then I'm going to build up a proper longer version with audio. And that way, people can go to the nitty gritty details. And suppose you are somebody who is going to see some uncle who is in the hospital. After reading this book, you will have better idea about the mechanics of the healthcare, and where it gets impersonal, where it gets really doesn't give you how to get yourself better later on. All those things, navigating the healthcare, and then understanding the structures, and then really bringing these changes into your regular life. You cannot do these things unless you take responsibility for it, and you're conscious about all these things that are going to affect your your health. So many people are not really health conscious. They kind of think, oh, I don't want to be obsessive about it. No, not obsessive, but then just be cautious of what you're eating, what you're exercising, things like that. But then each one you can help yourself. I'm putting a new yoga challenges for me, and that came out pretty good. you know like for example, I want to do surya namaskars, right? The sun salutation. Now I'm doing the advanced type of surya namaskars. That is what I want to do, so that that will be the effect of that will be much more vigorous, much more intense, and then you can feel it. But you got to train into that, that kind of thing. See, so now I understand why the yogis were so young at the very late stage, because there's something going on at the same time. molecular biology is really exploding. So we will be in a status where you know what's going on in your molecular metabolism. Do you know that, Sanya?
Sorry, Dr. Ralph. Took me a little while to get to my speaker. Yes,
Yeah.
I do know, but I didn't know the technical aspect of it. I mean, I do see, the benefits of
What
it.
do you mean you know? What do you know?
Like, I see yogis look younger, and of
No,
course,
I'm talking about science here now. Molecular biology.
yeah, that's what I'm asking too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I said I don't know technical aspect.
It's not
I
technical.
do observe, right?
Yeah,
People
I
hold
try
on to a
not to
certain
be technical as much as possible in these rooms, because uh, that's a kind of etiquette that we have to follow when we're talking to other professions and all that. What I mean is, uh, it used to be people are eating whatever they want according to the taste or according to the hunger, according to the time, energy, and all that, right? But now you will be knowing what is the genomic nature of your molecular biology metabolism wise, and also what are the energy types you have, okay, and what is the body type you have. All those things bring you, like, for example, now that if your father or somebody has a heart problem, then you go to the doctor, he says, "Oh, watch your diet, watch your fat, watch your exercise," and all. You do that because you know about that, right? That part of it. But now you know your own uh, chemistry, your own internal energy generation, and interaction with the food, interaction with the exercise, all those things. It's not just like you're doing exercise, but you know what type of exercise, how much, where, all those things will come into your own hand, into your um, into your hand with a phone, right? So I'm doing a uh, like an app. In that app, this is what goes on. Okay, you may open it, but then the moment you say, I want to know what kind of foods I can eat, what kind of foods may not really be. Allergies are different, and this is energy producing is different. What is going to be easily assimilable and digestible and thereby absorbable for me compared to what can give me reaction and all that, like an immune reaction or allergic reaction or making you dull and sleep and all that. Okay, that kind of. So when you go through the app, it's just I started it, but when you go through the app, by what I want to do with that is at the end of it, you go through it, then you know all the information about yourself. You will understand your body better, your digestion better, your metabolism better, and all that. So we are coming to an age where we don't have to do series of blood tests for this. A tiny drop will give you a metabolic profile. It is much more profound than at this time, right? So that's all being on. We are um, looking at all those things, but that's pretty ambitious for this app of how it should come out. But even if it doesn't come out that way, I don't mind because I'm going to write a lot of this in the books also. But if it is available, somebody in the hand, I think that's more useful, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the apps idea.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of apps that we are on right now.
Yeah, they're already there, but then this perspective of being the understanding the ancient wisdom is I did not find anywhere. That's
Yeah.
the,
I'm looking forward to it. When can we see the
I don't know because I just had looked at it and then I found some of the wellness apps and they were very superficial. Then I thought there is a need to go deeper, and I don't know, the team has to look into it, and then they have to understand what. There's one guy who came on and who was suggesting me. He doesn't even know what I know about the app development, but he's developing apps, you know. So, like for example, I want an avatar come up and all these artificial intelligence, right? Then you can look at yourself doing a lot of things. So maybe that's too much. I'm asking them, but they were given like a shock when I talked to them about this, what the app has to do, because I saw it in other apps, right? And so like Deepak Chopra app, other people apps, well, he comes and asks, "Hi, how are you?" And then he talks to you, and then determines what is good for you, and then tells you about it. It's like you're having a conversation with me, and I'm telling you. That's what I wanted. So let's see. I think you are the first person I told you so far. I thought it's too soon to say anything about it. But I will do it slowly. Maybe it'll take 5 years, 10 years. I don't know. The team has to look at it, right? So we will see what happens. You see, right now I have so many tools I can give to people, but they don't come and sign up and use them. So this way, that app is done. Once it's done, they can go and do it. I'm okay because people are not overwhelming me. I'm having a good time with my life and with what I'm experiencing and sharing with people who are really interested in that. But I don't have this like, oh, I have to be popular or make a lot of money. None of it. The quality should not be compromised, and then it will go wherever it goes. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't think in the terms of how much money is the target and all that. That's kind of not in my bones, probably. I don't know. But people who are doing that's fine. But I want to do it for the impact it is going to make. Okay. So suppose you take that app and then you have really impactful, suggestions there that will really help you not only to keep healthy but avoid things that could be illness, and also detect them early so that you can treat them better, and your energy and your vitality goes up. That's the specialty I wanted. If you don't have the vital energy, Sonia, not really investigate these deeper issues. So everything is connected in that. So if you are not having this vital energy, you are running around with your whatever commercial things, whatever you're doing, and you are drained, then you are not going to be able to sit down and go into these deeper things easily. That's a fact. Everybody can see that. But the type of energy that the ancient generated, because their vital energy is very high, and that's why they were able to penetrate deeper layers of consciousness, and that's something is not even comprehensible for a lot of people. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're doing the app.
somebody is coming on the wisdom. Let's talk to them, Tanya.
Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna do wisdom.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hi.
Hello. I'm really interested in the topic, or what you were talking about, energy and consciousness.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if you was willing to go into the inquiry and expand more about this energy and more about this consciousness. It's how you mean it, because we all use consciousness in a certain sense.
Yeah.
How are you using consciousness?
Yeah. To be simple, see, there's a perspective of consciousness. The ancients is different, and modern people, ours is different. They kind of come from the angle where consciousness is fundamental, and our body mind are manifested out of it. So we are in the consciousness, in the awareness, and everything happens in that. Whereas modern, so far, but as the concept is changing now, so far they thought our brain has the consciousness, and then it projects it as though mind and body are the fundamental, and consciousness is a product of it. That's a fundamental change, right? But when you really look at it, You have the body that is really animated or electrified or whatever. Yeah, with this uh, light within us. See, I see so many patients who after they pass away, when you look at it, the previous light that we see a few hours ago is gone completely, right? And then if you look at the thoughts are happening to us. We are not happening to the thoughts. So there is somebody who has these thoughts, and that is the conscious being. And once you really go into that, then your mind, cognitive, all the whoever it is, the external knowledge we have is only um, happening to us. And then it could be excellent genius and all that, the intellect can be very good, but the understanding and response during the various phases of life or challenges and all that is not limited when you go beyond the cognitive facility. Even this AI, for example, this is enhancement of cognitive tools, right? And that's excellent. We do a lot of things much easier, much better. So I've kind of embraced the AI tools completely, but that's also only external tool for me. Beyond that, I stay in my real sense of self, which is the conscious being. So being and doing are different for us, but then in ancient times, being is more important than doing. That's why they were simple outwardly and very deep inwardly, and then they went beyond the thought and touched the states of consciousness that were there. That has to be experienced, though. That cannot be
Direct contact with the brain. Yes.
yeah, you cannot you cannot give a description of it, but you have to experience it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting how you, even you explaining it,
Yeah.
I have questions, but I deeply understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. That space that
Yeah.
is all there is.
You feel it. You feel it. You intuitively know it. That's why you are feeling it and you understand it. It is not about the words. It's about what is represented beyond it. I'm sorry. Somebody called me, so there was the interruption of that.
Dr. Left.
No, no, I did not leave. There was a phone call interrupted me. Sorry about that.
No worries. I like
Yeah, somebody called me suddenly. Usually, it doesn't get through, so I don't know. I don't know also. Unless I know, I don't answer them. Keep myself protected that way. So, yeah. Again, the call was coming. Anyway, talk to me more about this. What do you feel?
Yeah. There is only what is. And the material world, whatever description we give is a fragment
Yeah.
of the whole.
Yeah.
Um, there's no duality, but this understanding presents a duality when you start speaking about things and you start saying self and other and this consciousness. You really have to be able to have that mind to be able to discern and put all that information and read it between the lines.
Yeah.
It's always my interest in how to articulate to people who understand consciousness only through their senses and their thoughts and their memory.
That's exactly the superficial thing that the ancients talked about. Whatever you sense, whatever you think, they are much superficial compared to your intuitive intuitive feeling that you have. That's why they said, go with the intuitive feeling inside, not with this knowledge. So you don't have to be having a lot of this knowledge. That's all for our external comforts and all that. If you really want to be inward, and that's where the intuitiveness comes up.
Yeah. Well, being a human being,
Yeah.
You also understand that there's internal knowledge.
Yeah.
That
Natural.
knowledge has to be dropped as well.
Natural. Yeah, because centuries of it or previous generation conditioning. This is called,
Culture, fear.
yeah, like a seed. Like a seed, it says there.
Yeah.
So in a small seed comes up a big tree like that. So much. See, that's why in yoga they identify that as a separate body, not separate body. One of the layers of the body, that seed body. They call it bija sarira. Bija means seed. In that seed there's so much hidden genetic coding. We know that now, so but they knew it about this a long time before we have the genome and all that. What they discovered was they had this whatever the samskaras they call, that means your tendencies, your inward, that what you're talking about coming from within, all those things they are from the other lives, they said. But it is if you keep your mind certain way and you develop certain mental habits, even the crafts and skills whatever you learn, then you carry that is what's the subtle body they call it, right? And if you look at the childhood prodigies and people who are very exceptionally talented very young age, and that's the explanation given, so what they say is if you keep your mind now well, if you learn lots of things positive now, you have the chance of carrying them to the next one. On the other hand, if you really do the other way, you can carry the bad things into the next life. That kind of explanation, so
Yeah, it's like practical.
yeah,
You have to behave rightly now. You have to live righteous now.
exactly, what you sow you reap, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I always find it interesting because society doesn't act this way, and I know you're not bound by society and by other people around you, but
Yeah,
it's really almost impossible for most human beings in everyday living,
yeah,
because you really have to go into this stuff
yeah,
and go beyond it.
yeah, it's a very difficult to get that kind of occasion or chance to go and sit down and really return into that. See, I'm a physician, right? So I was examining them in that particular angle, right? You see, what was the reason why so many people who are doing yoga were without any medications and surviving a lot and all. So I am like that now. I don't take any medications. My energy is very high, and
Yeah.
then I teach the same prevention thing, everything to my patients too. So what it is they were not giving up their health to somebody else. They were being proactive, really one with the nature, really understanding what is our health, what is our wellness, can we be you know aware of what is going on within us, and not being compulsive, not being like something like you're obsessed or not, nothing like that, but just being in touch with your, in tune with your bodily processes, bodily mechanisms, understanding all that intelligence that they had was incorporated into daily routines. And then
Ah.
people forget about that. Like for example, I drink only water. I don't drink any soda, anything like that. I don't even miss it because I feel so good when I'm drinking only water. you know so
Yeah.
my assistants in the office, they bring a big gulp or Coca-Cola, something like that. And then their sugar goes up and down and all that too. They're obese, some
Yeah.
of the
Affect
girls.
your chemistry in your body.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so everything's affecting the brain. But
yeah,
it seems like yoga
yeah.
allows a space for you to disconnect a
Mhm.
little from reality, and you kind of just, you're more in tune with your body
Yeah.
and what it is, and you drop some of the stress.
Yeah, yoga is actually for the mind, Cosmic. So
But and the body too.
yeah,
Um,
no, no, body is prepared so that body is healthy enough to go into the deeper aspects of the mind. But body has to be taken care of. That's why I do yoga, asanas and all that. But I don't give them so much importance. Of course, I give importance for the exploration of the mind process. That's what I'm saying.
so so you're using mind and you're using body, and the yoga is for the mind and the body. Is that what you're saying?
No, yoga is really the real definition of yoga is much deeper than modern people just think only I will do this body and then the rest of it I won't attend. So that way it's kind of they say Americanized in the sense user friendly and a minimal use, but not really going to the depth. That kind of thing.
So yoga, doesn't it not mean union?
Yeah, union of what? That's the question. See, if you think that you are the conscious being, and at that time you and me are the same, that is real yoga. And that's where we are all in one energy, one cosmic consciousness. Whereas you use the tools of the body and the mind to go and explore what you really are. Once you discover that, then body and mind becomes the tools that we have to take care of, but they don't become a problem.
I can see the intent and understand it, which means it's a practice, it's a system, but it's not the only way to get that clarity.
Yeah, it's not the only way. You can,
I only know
yeah, you,
I know some of the origins and understanding of yoga, but yeah, I can see how it could be very beneficial.
yeah, it's a deeper science. So, if you are met me like in '85 and before, when I was 20s and all that, I also didn't know what are the depths of yoga's understanding of so many things, right? But then you start with the body, then you start with your emotions and mind, and then you discover there's more deep. Once you went to the deeper understanding, then it's much easier to be dissociative of the body and mind and then be in yourself in that perfect peace and harmony. So, but that's not for everybody. Everybody has, you can just do only physical yoga and then achieve that quietness and everything of the body and mind, and then that is the union there or understanding. But the real union happens where our body goes away, our mind goes away, but then the energy that we which we got the life, that doesn't go anywhere. That is always present. Once you understand and merge it to that energy, that is the union, actually yoga. Yoga means, yeah, yoga means that is like a, like for example, you at your being, me at my being, that is conscious self, we are in the same energy. That is the
Yes,
life.
agreed.
In the life, in the plants, in the animals, the same. But we may have different minds, different understanding, different things. We may have different bodies, shapes, and color, and all that. But they are our tools that we forget about it.
I wonder though, is there any system or practice to get to that energy?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I teach.
So
That's,
the yoga is the
yeah.
system to get to that energy.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is so much information now available. I do that with my wellness club, but I don't rush people into getting into something. I just let them ease into that slowly. And lots of times that happens slowly to people. And that system is actually, if you go and read Patanjali Yoga Sutras, that is the book which has all these descriptions. It's a very much liked by a lot of people who are in this mind activities and relaxation, concentration, and all that. So it's something that you should look into. Okay. Well, I think Cosmic is done with that. Okay. So Sanya, so he was asking a very relevant and pertinent question as to what these systems are about and how can we understand all that. So that's what I said, right? For you read that Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it's kind of Sanya is coming here. That's good.
Clearer for here.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear from Clubhouse. I think my audio is something
I see.
wrong with
I see. Yeah. I don't know my room opens up or not. The other day I discovered it was not open. That's why we are only the people who come in. We are talking. The public may not be seeing the room at all. So we have to repair that.
for
Maybe-
the members. They
Yeah.
can come in when
Ah.
you're locking it, but for
Okay.
the others outside of your house
Ah.
is the the one that can access. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of learned about recording this. So if somebody people are listening after that is recorded, but other people come on the restream and they send me messages and all that. So um, anyway, I was talking to Cosmic. He had
Do that now, or
yeah, he has a relevant question. How does this union? I'm not talking about body mind union or anything like that. That's already very preliminary, right? But you start with that where you are. If you think you're just the body, then you go through those stages. Then you realize that some parts are missing. Still, I can do. Then you go into the mind, and after the mind, also the thoughts are. See, if you don't really experience what is behind mind, it's very difficult to understand what is beyond mind. Got to experience it, right? And then it took I was doing the physical yoga occasionally when I was in the medical school, right? Not much, And then most of the time I was sitting and reading and all that, And later on, after I came here, I kind of took it up on again because of the stress I felt in this country, right? It was uh, culture shock, really, And then I got some solace because of the physical yoga and mental yoga and all that, right? And then I ran into people like J. Krishnamurti and Ramana Maharshi and all that. Right? These are out of the world thing, right? Regulars in the modern society may not take it right away, may take it some time before they can understand the depth of perspective on human beings, right? But then that confusion is gone. What is thought? What is role? Where do you put it? And then you touch the energies that are behind. Then you don't have to tell anybody. You yourself experience that energy and the peace and the harmony, and that's where Sanya and me, we are all one. That energy. See, but we have different minds, different bodies. But these two are our tools. So to realize the spiritual truths, we use this healthy body, clear mind, so that we can touch those.
I'm just grateful to be able to, like,
Yeah.
what we did the meditation for, which is
Yeah.
just the separation, that space a little bit between the mind.
You remember I used to say, I'm not this body or mind. I am, I'm this consciousness, that way you slowly sink into it and then you begin to examine it. Then when you are really in that energy, touching everybody else at that energy, that's that is the superlative fulfillment that anybody can have. But that cannot be given to anybody. That can only be shown a way, and they have to walk to it by their own effort, by their own investigation.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's like, I can give you information, you get it. No, remember what I was doing? I was making you do things, and then feel things and all that. So that becomes your experience. It's not like a instruction given and you're taking and doing it. It won't get like that way. You got to experience, you got to do it yourself, then it will be there. So what is the problem is the modern life kind of engulfs people so much, they are getting caught in their, if not in the body, they get caught up in the mind. So what I'm saying, be aware, be in the present, don't get caught up in the network of thought. And it is very difficult to get out of it because people are building their own network of thought very every moment, every second. Okay, so that's why they cannot really extricate themselves from there, because everybody around you, you're talking about something, some mind conclusion, conception, and all that. But these are not conceptual energies. You see, once you sit down and completely go silent, and then what you do is you observe the thought, then you see the thoughts are slowing down later after several months or something like that. And then those thoughts you identify as negative or positive, and then immediately they change color, right? The moment you see negative, it will come to positive. That also takes a lot of years sometimes. And then go to one and you stay with that one thought, maybe some more time. And then you go beyond the thought into the real silent energy. That is the real yoga. When your individual conscious being is really mixed with the universal conscious being, which is not out there. We are all in that, you see, and that is awareness. So, what I'm trying to tell people is be aware, be aware. Not just when you are doing with me, but touch that when you are doing with me, and then go and do it in your life. Doesn't mean you don't say, like, I have this meeting this morning with my community members doing this challenge, and I participated there, and I saw the people's everybody doing everything, and they enjoyed the meeting, and then that's it, finished. Because the next thing starts, I'm aware in that. That's the simplest way.
Yeah. After yesterday's talk, of course, I was observing, as I always do on the sunny day, on the sunset, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like the experience that we, without thought, without anything interrupting, and just like feel everything, right?
Exactly. Exactly. See, that is the science withdrawal, like kind of. What they do is uh, pratyahara. That means the fed of whatever sensation that comes to you from like you are watching. That watching phenomena is the diet coming into you. But then, if you immediately want to describe that, or want to hold on to it or want to resist it, that's not experience, right? You are giving a color, you are giving a talk for that. No, that is where the people fall into thought trap again. So watch it, experience it, and let it go.
Yeah, I really appreciate that part. And
Yeah, you are doing it. See, you are doing it every day. That's why it is discernible for you. That is why it is something you experience it, right? So you experience the quietness and everything when you are watching the sun, and you are one with it. But you are not saying, "Oh, hot, the sun is hot today. Our sun is more glorious today." None of it. Just be with it. That is where forest bathing is given to people, because one of my friends, I think you know him, Robert Paschiola. You know, he's a big investor and podcaster and all of that. His podcast goes to 200 countries or something. He is always producing these, always working on them, talking to them and all that. But he told me, I think he said in my room also the other day. That's why I can tell. He said, Dr. Rao just told me, he was going crazy with all these computers, right? Then I told him, just leave it and go out and lay down under the tree, or sit down on the tree and experience the tree, experience the wind, experience everything that is around you. That is the forest bathing I'm talking about. First, you go and really change your perspective. But the only thing is, don't go there, think about the work again. That is the modern phenomenon. So don't do that. Just cut it off completely and stay there. Even if you take 5 to 15 minutes, and as you are doing them over the months and years, that becomes very, very, for me, that's what it is. The moment I see the flower, that's it. Very calm and quiet mouth. So it's not a question of understanding, it's not a question of practicing. What we don't want to practice is getting caught up in the network of thought again and again. So all these software engineers and all these people, what they're telling me is, because they have to code so much, they have to use the cognitive thing. It will be enhanced by the AI too. But then they get caught in that and they cannot get it off it. A lot of people who have that kind of thing, negative in a way. And see, when somebody wants to kill themselves, they want to shoot at the brain. because that's what they cannot stop. And that is the danger I'm talking about in a modern life. It's not that you do something like I'm doing the artificial design. I kind of designed all this um, app, and now and I'm working on the app, not just done, but I'm doing the courses, books, and talks and all that. Right? The blessing is after I'm done, that's it done. That's the thing.
Yeah, I like the practice. You know how you
Yeah.
said you finished with one patient and it's done the same thing with
Yeah.
what we're doing with our tasks, right?
Yeah,
That way
everything.
we can
Yeah,
really
everything is.
focus on one.
Yeah, the
And
same principles, Anya. Whatever work you do, if you can attend to the work completely. I'm not saying neglect the work and then just retire. No, just to do that. Whatever work you are doing, give it complete attention, complete concentration, and then after it's done, like you're seeing the sunset, see that, enjoy it, experience it. But after it's done, don't go on brooding it. And the next thing you go to, give complete attention to that. That's the key. That is the trick you have to get it. But the problem is, this thought allowed to run around, it forms its own neuronal path. This is the neuroplasticity we can use to build something, right? So if you have positive about something, you are really optimistic of something, and you cultivate that, then even if things are against you, you will be optimistic and positive because you kind of rewired your mind like that. But if you don't do that positive way, but you allow it to go negative, that's when it leads to depression, sadness, and all that. So that's why you have to understand how I can create my own brain, how I can create my own cognitive self, and then don't bring that into your spiritual life. That is where the mind has to completely see. That's why they said it's not the amount of information by which you recognize, you realize who you are, but by not having the information, being silent. Be still, know your God.
yeah, um, once like I think we've discussed like the people who can do like several tracks at the same time, same things
Yeah.
at the same time, right? Um, and that is a huge practice or awareness, right, with
Yeah.
regards to the.
No, it's a simple thing is even the multitasking that I do, you come to that individual task you are doing and be completely in that. See, then what happens is series of acts you are doing, but each one you are giving complete attention. It's not like you're doing something like, for example, you're driving, right? After a while, that driving becomes so easy, it becomes automatic, right? Don't do that. In the driving also, you pay attention to the road, you pay attention to the atmosphere, you pay attention to the steering wheel, all those things. What is the dashboard? All those things individually there, but at the time when you are paying attention to the individual task, you are completely with it. This is how I treat people with multitask problem.
Yeah.
And they ask me,
I,
"Oh, you do so many things, but how do you?" Because I pay attention to everything. There's a quality of thing. Like this glass is there, water is there. I'm aware. I'm bringing the glass to my mouth and taking a sip and drinking it. It is not an obsessive thing. It becomes um, right. Attentiveness becomes part of your being. That's why my book on the meditative awareness, that is about this. I already wrote it. That's the first of all, people are not even aware of the meditation, and also not aware that awareness is different from thinking.
yeah.
See, you are paying
I'm
attention to
looking
me.
forward to that one.
Yeah. Come back, Sonia. Nobody's in the queue if you want to. So, anybody else has any questions or comments? You can always come back and I asked you to, I asked you to come back because this is a very important point you want to observe, and then implement. So tomorrow you go to the office, right? Or you're at home, a lot of people working on the computer and all that, right? Just see, are you having this statement come into your life? What I say, attention to every action. So actually, I made some of my friends who are coming to me for burnout and all that. I made them write it down, put it like a visual cue at the work, at the refrigerator, the bedroom, and all that, right? So I may give them this kind of talk for a while and make them understand what I'm talking about. Then the visual cue brings back everything for you, right? So you pay attention to the action. Then you will be paying more and more, discovering there are small acts within a bigger act. Then you are like a driving. I told you, in the driving you can be mechanical, automatic, and you was talking on the phone, doing something and all that. But then that won't be revitalizing you. That actually exhausts you, right? And that is the lack of vital energy people suffer from. I can tell immediately the moment I see somebody, they have vital energy or not, by the way they're talking, by the way their thoughts are running, by the way their conclusions are coming. So many things it gives away that it's not their crime or anything. It's how they train their own mind. See, and then if you are driving, you can be in touch with what is happening in the moment while you are driving. Okay, but at the same time you're changing the gear in some cars, or you're changing from this one. Some bodily mechanical um, habits will happen, those circuits will go on, but it's the higher cognition that is made into conscious thought, because the intellect is inspired, but then your understanding is illuminated.
Yeah. I yeah, I am a little more conscious of the tasks that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like we practice with the candle lights.
Yeah. So actually, you don't have to work on the other things that are interfering. What you have to work on is how attentive I am here. And that is the cycle that you want to cultivate in the morning, and during the day, and at night. For example, I don't sleep on thoughts. I sleep on the conscious being.
Yeah.
And that's very, very you can tell it how much different that is in energy wise. If you are thinking and going and allow the mind to continue in the dreams or whatever, that is very exhausting, very exhausting. Whereas if you are aware, and then you are aware of that being, and then you abide by that being and sleep, I mean, that's not easy. I'm not saying that you're going to be just like that, but yeah, I think you should be very fortunate also. Probably I'm fortunate, So, but I could noticeably see the a change in energy. That much I can tell you.
Yeah, I am looking, in the end of the night, right? That meditation, at least I'm not, this body, and I'm not even the mind, right?
Yeah, you can start with that. Yeah,
right?
there's no problem, Sani. You can start with that, and then what it is the way you allowed the mind is so deep. You got to give it the time for it to come back, right? So it's not that easy. Lots of times it doesn't make sense. But I am saying, I'm a modern man functioning in which way. Only thing is, I understood the wisdom of the ancients. So that is one thing is, I don't say only modern people know everything. Actually, I discovered their perceptions, their intuitiveness is much superior. So they are more evolved people than us. See, just because we have some physical knowledge of physical things, I don't think that is a big deal. It is the inner knowledge of them. That's why they divided into two words. What they knew was called gnana, that is inner self, inner knowledge, inner being, and all that. And they are pretty deep on that. Modern people can't even understand, right? Whereas we are good at exploring the world, the physical nature of things, and making them. Even though I think we made a mess of it, that's why the Earth is like this, you know. But the scientific knowledge, deductive knowledge, objective knowledge, that is called Vijnana. So there's a separate. Sanskrit is such a language. It has got so many words that we cannot explain them in English or any other language. You know.
Yeah, I'm still doing a page of the sutra
Mm.
because I have to repeat reading it,
Yeah,
and I
there's.
decided, I can go faster, but
Yeah.
then
I mean, we'll do a mandala on that too. Then we can go pretty deep. Actually, 40 days also is not enough for it. Really, I'm telling you, it's that depth. I take the first one, uh, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, that's the second line, and I can tell you the entire civilization of development of the cognitive brain and how it is landing us in trouble. It can discover because some of the people are beyond the cognitive, and then they have the insights, and like somebody discovered Earth is round, or the gravity is there, or so many. Even now, somebody is doing molecular biology, and they are having a lot of, because they are really going beyond the cognition to have those insights. So, and then what we do is we repeat the same thing as our knowledge. It's not our knowledge. They just gave it to us because they had the one insights, and then we kind of borrowed that. And like for example, some website is there, how they created it. The people who created are creative. But what we do is we kind of know about it, and then we build it and we use it for ourselves. You see, that's the difference. Yeah, we will discuss that. I mean, that's a pretty deep subject. That's a pretty deep subject. I don't want to, even now, so many people don't come to discuss with me. That's a shame because they could get a lot of insights probably. But that's okay.
I think, there's to get into the mind of where we are currently talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's different, right? Because if everybody just jumping, hopping all around in different
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Then the mind doesn't stay.
Yeah, you got to use your mind to go beyond your mind. That's very difficult. And also, people may be scared to look at themselves lots of times. You see, that's also there. So, you have to allow them to do whatever they want, because it all depends upon what they want to find out. It's not about what we want to teach them. That's not it. It's what they want to find out.
That's true.
So I'm okay with that. No problem. But then, if only you know what you are, if only you can taste what it feels like, then you won't go anywhere. That's much I know. So anyway,
it is like coming to that.
If you come, we talk about, yeah, wellness club is one place I'm going to talk more about this, because I want to take at least 10 people that are kind of interested at this depth level, and then they want to explore it, then I can do that. That is what.
Sure. I think that's great. And then I hope that everybody will take up,
Yeah.
Just,
I mean,
like what I'm finding out with yourself, right, Dr. Rao, as we go through the year's experience, right, is that it is up to you as you are. Like when we did the inner exploration, rather than what the business component is actually makes things so much better, right? In terms of like the experience of life itself, right?
Even the money you make makes meaningful, because you won't be greedy about money, but you may make it because, but then you use the money properly, right? and you don't use it to spoil yourself, and you don't use to accumulate. You want to do good job and all that too. So it's a very healthy thing in a way, to know yourself. So that's the biggest thing that ancients discovered. They went to the fact, they say the purpose of a human life is they are given this intelligence that we turned inward and realize who they really are beyond this body mind complex. And that is very true. It's my own life. I can just say that money, desires, or enjoying, and all those things do not really matter. And they take their own seat where they have to be, they will be. But this inner expression, the human being, that is the luxury given to the human beings. You touch a diamond, a forever fulfillment, very peace itself you touch, happiness itself you touch. And once you do that, that's not like a religion or anything. It's some kind of, any human being can do that. But if you get caught up in the religious dogma or anything, and that's why I told you I don't belong to any religion, even though I may quote okay, be still, you are no God. That's the Christian thing, right? But same thing they said in different cultures, different way. So that wisdom you take it, but don't identify with that. Probably Christ would not have identified himself as that because he accepted everybody, right? And he also said, "Forgive them, my Father, because they know not what they are doing." That's the same thing with most people are. So I remember that all the time. And then people have to make their own way of exploring this and doing it. In that way, you can be there. Like I'm kind of leading you go towards that way. That's all you can do. But you have to do the work. That's where it is.
What I experience, the things that's really in depth and meaningful, like I'm actually out of the body and the mind space.
Yeah.
And when you can kind of discard that for a few minutes and just focus on,
That's it.
yeah,
Not even few minutes, Sanya, even few seconds if you do in the morning, in the evening, very beneficial. You are a money person, but then you have more quality in this. Then you can make money and use it properly too, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But don't be caught by the greed of the money. That is what the Western civilization has done to themselves. They caught up in that greed factor. Essentials, doing the money for the sake of it, that's fine. But then inequality is there. So many people don't have anything. We can do that. Or so many things that you want to support, causes and all that. But then that is the primary aim. Everything else will be because that is really imbecile. I don't agree with that at all. But they can do
Yeah.
it. They what they want. It's up to them. But I don't do it. That's what in my mind. Do I crave for the money or not? No. But when it comes, do I use? Yeah. But because I make myself so available to so many services, I may charge reasonably. I may take, that is how they said dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That means you make the artha, which is the wealth, in a dharmic way, that is a righteous way. Don't cheat anybody, don't be violent and all that. And you have karma, the desires, human desires, right? Then you fulfill them in a dharmic way, in a righteous way. But this money accumulated, desires fulfilled, the pleasure and all that, they are not going to lead to the forever fulfillment. The only thing is moksha, liberation from your own mind. Then you will have that, touching that. I don't think you are ready for that yet, anyways. But that's okay.
No, I'm looking forward to the sutra as the next one that you're practicing, because I think
It will blow your mind. I'm warning you right now. It will really blow your mind. The essence of that book,
yeah.
that's not like a readable book in the sense. That's a book that has to be taken on a exploration and investigation. You know, because I've been talking and telling people in so many ways, but all the time, it's not information. is that felt truth for me or not? That's the question, right? And then it comes out by itself, you know. Well, anyway, I think we are 8:16 now here, so I will take leave now. It's already 1 hour and 20 minutes, you know. So I'll be taking leave now, Sanya. I will see you again tomorrow.